Hi everyone, it's Bree. I am going to do a video on my favorite art supplies. So let's kind of clear all this away and let's talk about paper. This is a visual journal by Strathmore. I just painted the front and back, and this would probably be my favorite spiral bound journal. I really haven't found one that I like that is just flat, so I kind of make my own. Flat meaning stitched or hardbound, where you open it and it lays completely flat. I just haven't found. I like the handbook, but I don't necessarily like the quality of paper. I haven't tried the watercolor handbook, but so anyway, this is definitely my favorite spiral bound, and I just paint the front and back, so it kind of just makes it my own book. So I like that. It is it's watercolor paper. I'm not really sure the thickness of it. I think it's 140 actually, 140 pound. So it's a little rough. It's not as smooth, but I like that. So that's that one. And then this one that I just kind of showed you is one that I make myself. I just make it with mixed media paper by Canson. I cut it down, and that way I can make it and it fits into my traveler's notebook. That is paper. As far as paper goes, if you're going to use watercolor, I think that you should find paper that is at least 90 pound. Otherwise it just absorbs too much and you don't get an even flow of the color over the page. You have to really work it, and then sometimes you can add too much water and then it bleeds through, and so anything over 90 pound, I normally try and go for like 110 to 140. So those are my two kinds of paper that I use for journaling, sketching, anything to do. A lot of my sketching is just watercolor and pen and ink. So however, sometimes it's hard to get started. So to get started, if there's like a blank page or something and I just don't know what to do, but I want to do something, then I do a background. I normally use a stencil. If I don't watercolor it to start, I'll use a stencil, and my new thing is these distress inks. What I used to do is I used to use the stencil, but I used to put some tube watercolor in a spray bottle. So add some water, and I used to shake it and then spray it. This is just nice because it's not as messy. I had mentioned in a video that to kind of save time and to not have to clean these little pads, because when you clean these pads and they dry, they tend to curl, which is kind of annoying. So I just bought a bunch of these pads and I stick them in the back, and then I just kind of push this, and then I open it and I'm ready to go. And then when I'm done, it just comes right off, and I just leave it there for the next time. So distress ink and a stencil is really nice to just create a quick background. If I do use the distress ink, they are water-based inks. So I like to, if I'm going to go, most of the time, I'm going to go back over the top of it with something. In my previous videos, I have used absorbent ground, which I really like. So what I do is I create the page. I can kind of show you. I create the page, the background page, and then I go ahead and, let's see, for this one, I created the background. I sprayed it actually, and then with her, I just put white paint on it, really cheap, 99-cent stuff from Walmart, craft paint, over it first to kind of dull down the color from the background, and then I put absorbent ground over the top of it. That way my watercolor, when I actually watercolored her, she was easier to watercolor because I put absorbent ground on it. Now if I was just to watercolor over the white paint, it would work just fine. It just wouldn't blend as easy as it would if you used absorbent ground. I just put it in this little travel container. I have the bigger bottle. It's by Golden, but I do like absorbent ground if I'm going to use the distress inks. So, and then the next thing is my watercolor set. It's by Schminky. My husband got this for me for Christmas last year, so I was very, very lucky. And then it came with just like, I think 12 pans or something, and then for my birthday, it's in May, I filled the rest of the side up. These are awesome, and you can get them some colors, like this sap green right here. This is a very opaque color, so meaning that if I apply this to my page, I'm not going to really be able to see pencil lines through it, or even sometimes my pens through it. The more transparent you get, obviously, the more see-through it is, so you're going to be able to see right on through it. Some colors that I purchased are opaque, some are transparent. Like this orange, it's like an orange red. I'm not really sure exactly what it's called. I think all of these have names on the back. I could be wrong. Yeah, they have a number on the back, so if you really liked it, you could buy it again. They're half pans, but this one is opaque as well. I prefer the transparent over the opaque, only because you're using watercolor. It's not, if I wanted to use a bright color or bright watercolor, I'd probably use gouache. So, but anyway, the one that he purchased, or the one I got in the mail, doesn't close very well. I could probably bend it since it's a metal tin, but it just doesn't snap closed, so I keep this band on it so that it stays closed at all times. So this is my watercolor set that I really like to use. This pouch right here, my favorite. I got it from Alyssa Burke's website. She is amazing. I love her as an artist. So that's where this is from. And then in it, I have a white crayon that's just for resists. So if I wanted to do some kind of craziness, like a pattern in the background, and then I just watercolor over it, wherever I marked the white crayon would stay white. For the most part. I have a white paint pen, and then along with that I have my Jelly Roll pen. I prefer the Sharpie paint pen. However, it's a thick tip, so if I wanted to get in a, like, you know, have a finer area that I wanted to do some white details, then I'd have to go with the gel pen. If they made this Sharpie, the water-based kind, not the oil-based, the water-based, if they made it in a smaller tip, then I would totally buy it and give this away or use this up and never buy this again. But they don't. This is just for, like I said, when I am done watercoloring and say I have a person and I really want the whites of their eyes to be white, I'd color it in with something like this. I really like to use are just permanent pens. So I have 3 different kinds here. I have a Copic, I have a gray and a black in size 0.3. I have a Micron, this is in sepia in 0.1. And then I have a Sharpie. A Sharpie and the Copic ones are the same size, I guess. Sharpies are probably my favorite because they're the cheapest. And then I like having the 3 different colors. Just in case. I thought I'd use the gray more, but I don't use it as much as I use the brown and the black. So those are my 4 favorite pens. If I could just have one, it would be a Sharpie pen. That's those. I have an eraser. Now normally I like white pearl erasers. However, I was at the art store and I needed an eraser, so I've never tried one of these kind of clear gummy ones, so I was giving it a shot. I don't hate it, but white pearl erasers are so cheap and you can get them at Walmart, so that's why I would go back to it. A water brush. I love these things. I do have some nice watercolor brushes by Winsor Newton, but I just think these are so easy, so I always go back to these. This is my favorite kind. I've tried many different kinds, and I got this in a set with my Koi watercolors and by Sakura, and this is my favorite brush. It's easy to control the water that comes out of it. It doesn't like spill water out of it. The Pentel one kind of like spills water out of it, you know, because gravity, like you turn it upside down, gravity's gonna pull the water out. But I don't know, this is my favorite one. And then I have these last 3 things is a mechanical pencil. I like a thicker lead, so anything that is like 0.9, I like a thicker lead so that way it doesn't break as much. I don't really care about having a point, like getting a sharp point. So I like that. This is a Derwent Sketch and Wash pencil. So you can apply this to the paper, and then you can use your water brush or any other brush with water, and it reacts to it just like a watercolor pencil would. It's just gray, graphite color. So this is one of my favorite things in this little kit that I have. It creates nice shadows. And then the very last thing is a pencil eraser just for fine areas. So that is everything in my little kit. And that is all the things that, if I couldn't have anything else, these would be the things that I would have to have. I should probably narrow it down. How many things is that? So paper, that's 1. Watercolors 2, 3, 4, 5, and then, oh my gosh, how many things in here? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. That's not too bad. 17 things. Anyway, tell me what you think. Leave me some comments. I think the next couple videos I will do is maybe kind of an art challenge for me. I was thinking about taking, let's clear this out of the way. You tell me if you think this is a good idea. I was thinking about I have all these watercolors, and I thought that it would be neat to just sketch an image and then dig in here and pick like 3 colors and then have to color that image with those 3 colors. So I think that is going to be my, I need some challenges. So I think that is going to be my next challenge. Again, tell me what you think in the comment. And then stay tuned for my Art Journal Pen Pal videos. I'm doing that with Ashley and Allie. So subscribe, hit the like button, and I will talk to you guys later. Have a good day. Bye.